Oh, you cheeky you. Oh, hi everyone. Don't mind me, I'm just having a slumber party with my little survivor gang here. Oh, we're going to have so much fun. You too could have fun with these. Different options you can have if you have it in coffee, in pastries. You could even put it into something a bit more naughty if you like. Get yourself some. And yeah, find the link in the description. Find it in the pinned comments. And maybe you too could have some fun. Just like me. Hi everyone. I guess this is another message to myself that I want to do today. It's going to be a story that I'm going to go into, which apologise if I've already told you about this story privately. So I'm just kind of repeating myself. So I do apologise in advance. So what I want to talk about is last Saturday. So first Saturday of September, I went and saw one of my friends who I don't get to see very often. He lives not miles away, but a way away. And we sort of said that we're going to have a night out. And it's normally something that I would have shied away from because of the weight and because I then get anxious around people and don't want to be looked at and so on. So for the longest of times, I have been someone who hasn't gone out or met up with people because of that reason. And for people who are overweight, you kind of get what I mean. All right. But I thought, no, I want to do this one. I want to go out, and I felt okay enough in myself that I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go, and I'm going to enjoy myself for a change, and away I went. And actually, I was excited. I was excited at the fact that, do you know what, I'm going out, I'm doing something, and it reminds me of how I used to be and what I used to do. So I got there, and absolutely fine. So we started. We went out. I always have this initial kind of comparison between us because my friend, in all fairness, is stick thin. Okay, borderline maybe too thin, but definitely thin. So you always have that kind of comparison between the two. So I was trying to get that out of my head, and I thought, no, I'm not gonna let this affect anything. So we went out. First of all we went for a meal, and it was good because it was a kind of a meal that we both had the same amount. I didn't feel like I was stuffing my face whilst he was only having a small amount. We had the same amount, and that was fine. It was absolutely what I needed. Wasn't anything extravagant. So then we went out and we started hitting bars. Now I wasn't drinking because I was having to drive home later on. So I was just on soft drink. But it was a Saturday night, so there's people dressed up, there's people out, the lads are out, the girls are out, everything. And I'm trying my best, and I'm coping, I'm sort of floating on the water of, I don't feel massively out of place compared to these people. So that was good. What happened though was when we was sat at one of these bars, I had a message ping through, and it was from someone who's a good friend of mine. And she sent me a photo that included me in it from a previous thing I'd gone to. It was a birthday party that I was like, no, I want to go to that as well. So I'd gone to it, and she sent me this photo for no other reason than this was a photo of me. I've got it. I think somebody had sent it to her. So then she just forwarded it to me to sort of say, oh, there's a picture of you and your family. The problem is, and she wouldn't have thought this, and if she'd have known what then happened, she'd have been horrified, and she obviously wouldn't have sent it. So it wasn't sent maliciously, but it was a photo where it was not the best one of me. This is it. And yeah, so the problem is that this got sent to me, and I looked at it as I'm sat there in this bar with all these people who are there and looking normal, as I would say. And Oof. So immediately my confidence, which wasn't high, but it was okay, just because in my head I had what I thought I was starting to look like. And then here was a photo of, well, this is how people see you from the side. And I thought, oh God, so that means that all these people here, this is what I look like. And that did me for the rest of the night. I was just wanting to get out of there. I felt, I think my brain hasn't caught up with my body in terms of what I look like, because I know in my head, I know that I look so much better than what I did, but I think my brain is still there and it hasn't quite caught up with where I am now. So my brain went kind of immediately back to, oh my God, this is what you look like, this is what everyone thinks, and you know, and I tried to sort of carry on and having a good time and all that, but it just flavoured the whole night then with this, you know, and it was a shame. And like I said, she didn't know. She, bless her, she was just sending me a photo of me. It's just, it was one of those, this was possibly the worst time I could have received it. And we finished up the night. I then drove home, and it was about an hour or so to drive home, and it was like, I don't know, midnight or something like that. So the roads were empty, and I just had music on, and I kind of just went back into my shell and just allowed the music to sort of play, and I was just so down, just incredibly down about myself and about what had just happened and the night. And I think what my brain was thinking at the time was, oh, you thought you'd done well, but actually you still look like this. By the way, if you hear music in the background, I don't know if you can or not, it's probably from the neighbours, so I'm hoping it's awake. That was like a very long drive home of, in my head, listening to the music with it quiet, hardly any cars about, and I just felt, I think glum is the word for it. But I came home, and this is where I then tried to get it right in my head, and again, this is me talking to me. This is where I reminded myself how far I have come, because I got into bed and my brain was still worrying about the fact I'd been out and that, so I wasn't sleepy. So I was looking through my phone, and I think I was just looking through photos for, I can't even remember what I was looking for, but I found a photo of me, and it was a photo from November, and you can tell it's from November or like that because I've got a poppy on. And I looked at myself and I thought, my God, like the difference, because I'd taken a photo of myself when I went out that night, and it was just like this immediate, like, bloody hell. So I ended up doing this collage, this side by side of the two, and I'm going to put it on the screen now. So here it is. And that for me was exactly what I needed at that precise moment, because I think if I'd have just left it as it was, my sort of glum would have gone into the next day, into the next day, into the next day. And I needed this picture here to just remind me, come on, mate, look at the difference. Okay. Yeah, you're not there yet. You're not nearly there yet. But bloody hell, what would you rather, with this or this? And it just turned my mind around. And I think about it and I go, no, I'm not there yet. But what a journey it's been so far. And in a short, really a short period of time, it was March I started this. To go from that photo to this photo. And then in all fairness, that photo where I had the poppy on, that was in November. So I might have even been heavier by the time it got to the March that I started this. So I probably looked even worse. that was what I needed. And I was so pleased that I looked through, doom scrolled, as they say, through photos and so on. And I found that, and I thought, no, I'm going to use this now. This I felt like this. I need something to make me feel better about what I've done, and there it was. And thank God I found it, because since then I've been fine. Okay, and so I guess it goes out this. I mean, if I'm talking to myself in the future, keep looking back to old photos, because what you're doing is amazing. And I speak to the people who are watching this as well. If you're having your wobble days or whatever like that, look back at a photo and compare and contrast, okay? Because for me, that was enough for me to go, wow, what are you worrying about, okay? No, not there yet, but you're getting there, and I will get there. But that was just an interesting time, because I thought, no, this is, I went from high of thinking, I'm going out, I'm going to go for this meal and I'm going to go for drinks and be like how I used to be and not be as self-conscious, to then really down when I got that photo, and the night was then painted with this misery of like, oh great, now this is what I think, to then back up again, to looking at that photo and going, you're doing it, mate, you're doing it. And I just wanted to share that with you, because it is an emotional thing, this journey. It's you're dealing with a lot of skeletons from the past, so how you're feeling when you're at your heaviest, so still trying to then wrap your head around this new image of yourself, and your brain sometimes does agree with it, sometimes it still thinks that you are where you were, but it's a journey, and I got to remind myself that that really this is something that is going to take time. But would I want to be back there? No, I fucking wouldn't. Okay, I'm happy where I am now compared to there. Okay, but I just wanted to share that. It's week 23, so nice and simple. Let's go to the weigh-in to see how I did this week. Hi everyone, so end of week 23. Well, as we know, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it? And yeah, so gonna go in there, see how I'm gonna do. Let's find out. Who knows?
2 hours later.
So that's 23 weeks. Back to the video. So that was the latest. Thank you ever so much for jumping on this. It's really appreciated. And obviously I'm using this as a tool for myself to look back at, and to give myself a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of support, I think. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you're getting on well with your journeys, and I'll see you again soon. Got to get me walking. Oh.
Wise Mounjaro, come on in and you can see his goofy face, arthritic knee, still living life like he's 23. But no more chips and no more cheese, his boobs alone are double D's, and he sits down when he pees. Wise Mounjaro, oh wise Mounjaro, losing weight, that's his job, so he can finally see his knob. If only he could stop shoveling food in his gob, spending hours on the bog trying to pass another law. Wise Mounjaro, oh wise Mounjaro, subscribe to him now, it'll mean a lot. so he can finally stop being a blob. So he can finally stop being such a big old hairy blob. Subscribe to him, now it'll mean a lot, so he can finally stop being a blob. So he can finally stop being such a big old hairy blob.